The Eagles have a lot of tough decisions to make, no doubt about it. And one of the things that most Eagle fans want, they want DeAndre Swift back. But the odds makers, they have the Eagles making a different move. Dallas still stinks. You like the way it kicked Dingbat here. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you got the duel. Hope you're hanging in there. So we all know that the Eagles got a lot of tough decisions to make this offseason. And the first basic one is this. Are you in it to win it next year, or are you going to rebuild? Because the answer to that takes you in two complete directions. And now the Eagles are facing the questions they have about Haason Reddick, but they got more than just that. They got to figure out what they're going to do at the running back position. Most of us want DeAndre Swift back, but the odds makers say there may be something else that the Eagles are going to do. And then, of course, you got to start to extend people like Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson. These things have to get done. Both those guys want to be in Philly. Both those guys love Philly. Just if you don't believe me, listen to what Landon Dickerson had to say about playing in Philly and staying in Philly. Here's what he said. Shout out to Brendan Deeg for posting this. Landon Dickerson, quote, "I would love to stay around here and have my whole career here. I absolutely love it here. Me and my wife love it here. It's our team. We live here in the off season. We're not anywhere else." He was a home run second-round pick. Time to get an extension done. There is no question Landon Dickerson was a home run pick. He was a giant home run pick. However, it was a risky pick, if you remember at the time, because here was a guy with first-round talent that had been injured in college, like 2-3 years in a row. It just seemed like he was always injured. And yeah, it turned out the Eagles took him anyways, and boom, bang, bam, bam, boom. You know what I mean? A double moonwalk of Mark Holmes. The guy has 2 Pro Bowl years. To me, he's probably the best or one of the best left guards in the National Football League, and he's very young. So yes, you have to extend Landon Dickerson. You do. Now, he's a second-round pick. You might have to get his contract done before Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith, you have to remember, you've got him next year, and then you can pick up his option year. So the Eagles essentially really have 2 years to get a long-term contract done with Devontae Smith. It's just going to be how they prioritize things. And that's what's really going to be interesting about this offseason, because some people actually think they're going to rebuild. They look at this team and they say, oh yeah, this team's got to rebuild. They got too many old guys. Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Haason Reddick might be on his way out. Darius Slay, James Bradbury. And these guys are all are old. I can't even talk. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. It's too early. But the truth of the matter is this. If you're going to rebuild, if you're going to start from scratch, why on earth do you keep the head coach? That is something I could not understand. If I was rebuilding, I'd have clean house. So I'm not sure that they're rebuilding. Retooling? Yeah. I don't know if Howie Roseman and the Eagles have the patience to say, you know what, we're going to take a few years back and we're going to rebuild. Especially when you have Jalen Hurts signed to a contract. Okay, you have paid a quarterback a lot of money. To sit there and say that we're going to go and do a whole complete rebuild is crazy to me. So this team is most likely in a retooling time. All right, they're going to retool, but you still have to take care of your young guys, and you're going to have some tough decisions to make. Me personally, I don't think you can afford to lose Haason Reddick. But Haason Reddick, they're saying, is asking for $25 million. The Eagles said go out and see if you could actually get it. I don't think he's going to be able to. But if I have to play strong, if I have to strong-arm Haason Reddick at the end of the day, I will. I'm not trading him for nothing. Okay, I'm not trading him for nothing, and I'm not paying him $25 million because I really can't afford to do it. So if he has to just play out the final year of his contract, then that's the way it's got to be. What we hope happens, and what I think will happen with Reddick, is he will go out on the market, find out what he's worth and what he can get from another team, and then the Eagles will have an opportunity to match if they want. And if he can't get what he wants and then he gets a contract from the Eagles, he can at least rest assured that he got a fair deal. Okay, so that's what I hope happens with Haason Reddick. But you have to sign Landon Dickerson this offseason, and I think you've got to try to get Devontae Smith done as well, although you have a little more time because you have that option year. And I think they have to pick it up this spring, and I'm sure they will. Devontae Smith has to be an Eagle for a long time. He's got to be an Eagle for a long time. It's just the way it is. He's that good, and he's that impactful. And Landon Dickerson, he's Dickinson something. Dickerson, all right? Sorry, I was making a lot of babies last night. I was up late, all right? But Landon Dickerson, basically, that's pretty good. I like that one. Landon Dickerson, all right, making babies. But Landon Dickerson has got to come back, got to get an extension as well. I totally agree with myself on that comment. Now, the other question is going to be this. What the hell are they going to do at running back? Okay? I mean, you can't tell me that you're excited about Kenneth Gainwell going into the final season of his contract. I mean, Kenneth Gainwell, he's ready to take over. No. Obviously, the Eagles are going to have to go out and get a running back. The question is who? Most Eagle fans, including myself, want DeAndre Swift back. I would like to get DeAndre Swift back and then find a complimentary running back to go along with him. Whether that's like mid-rounds of the draft or if that's some sort of free agent that you could get on a deal, I think you got to do something. The interesting thing is that we're seeing that the odds makers actually have the Eagles with the second best chance to land Saquon Barkley. Now, I don't know where they come up with this, but a lot of people believe that when you start seeing the odds makers making things like this, they know something we don't know or get, okay? The Eagles have the second best odds to land Barkley at plus 400. They have a 20% chance behind the only team Barkley has ever played for, the New York Giants. So only the Giants have better odds to bring back Barkley than for the Eagles to land him, okay? And that's ahead of the Dallas Cowboys, where I think he's going to go. If I had to guess, I think the Cowboys are going to make a play for him. But ahead of the Cowboys, ahead of the Titans, and tied for 5th, Cincinnati and the Las Vegas Raiders. So the Eagles have the second best odds to land him. Now, I mean, that's pretty crazy. I mean, you'd have to pay Barkley probably looking at around $12 million, something like that. I think he's about $11 million, like $11.5 if the Giants were to franchise him. But at some point, do the Eagles say, man, this is a good enough deal for us? I can tell you this right now. If Saquon, and I don't think this is going to happen. I don't believe it. I just think it's very odd that the odds makers have the Eagles so high. But if Barkley was with the Eagles, and if he could remain healthy, this offense would have no weaknesses. It would have no weaknesses. Not with that offensive line, especially if you get Kelsey back. Not with those receivers in the tight end with Kellen Moore. Barkley has never played with that much talent. What would he do with that much talent? I mean, you've seen Barkley, in my opinion, when healthy, Barkley puts up phenomenal numbers on a team that is not very good. I would be interested in seeing what Barkley does on a talented team, whether it's the Eagles or somebody else, not the Cowboys. Because I'll be honest with you, if I was the Dallas Cowboys, I would go get myself Saquon Barkley. I would get myself a premier running back. I think if you added a running back to that offense, they'd be very scary. They'll probably choke again in the playoffs, don't get me wrong. Unless they run Barkley 30 times a game, then maybe they win. So Barkley, the Eagles having the best odds that are not the Giants is very, I don't know what to make of it. I mean, 20% chance, that's not great, but that's better than anybody else. So do they know something we don't know? I don't know. I mean, you think it's got to be too expensive, right? It's too expensive. But they have him there, and you never know how Howie's going to do anything. He's unpredictable a lot of times. Except for if it comes to linebacker, then you know what you're going to get. But we'll see. We'll see. I still don't think it. I would put, if Philly 500 was doing best odds to land Saquon Barkley, I would honestly, and I hate saying this, I don't like to say it, I would have Dallas Cowboys 1 and the Chargers 2. Those would be my 2 teams. The Eagles also are pretty high favorite to land Dalvin Cook at 16.7%. They're plus 500 behind the Baltimore Ravens and the Bengals and ahead of Dallas and Green Bay. Now, I got to say this. I think Dalvin Cook is maybe finished, maybe done. I don't know what he's got left. I would steer away from him, okay? There are other running backs, however, that we could talk about. Josh Jacobs would be somebody that I think would be a great fit for the Eagles. Would they pay him? I don't know. And then Austin Eckler. Now, me personally, if I was putting my odds of who I think the Eagles land at running back, I think Austin Eckler. I would actually have my top 3 running backs for the Eagles to land, on my own personal opinion, not the odds makers, not Las Vegas. I would have the Eagles landing Austin Eckler as the most realistic guy to pick up. I think the Eagles like Austin Eckler. I think they have liked him for a long time. Now, this is coming, I believe, from my bookie. That's where these odds are coming from. I think the Eagles liked Austin Eckler. I think Kellen Moore liked Austin Eckler. And for whatever reason, I could totally see the Eagles signing Austin Eckler. I think they've tried in the past. So if I had to do my own personal top 3 running backs to land with the Eagles, I would have Eckler 1. I would have DeAndre Swift 2. And then the third guy, and listen, I think DeAndre Swift's the guy to get. I want him back. I want to see what he could do. We'll see if the Eagles do it because of what he's going to ask. And then the third guy, I think, is Derrick Henry. And the reason I say that is because we've also heard things in the last few years that the Eagles have tried to land Derrick Henry. Okay, and especially if they think, I would love to if you could somehow get Swift and Henry, now you've got something that is nasty on offense. Nasty, okay? But they wouldn't do both. But that would be my dream case scenario. Swift and Henry, 1-year deals. For 1-year deal, But I do think the Eagles like Derrick Henry. So my 3 top running backs I think are most likely to land with the Eagles would be 1, Austin Eckler, 2, DeAndre Swift, and then 3, Derrick Henry. I think the Eagles do like him. Question is what does he have left? And the thing that I'm hearing about Henry is he may not get the money he wants and may be willing to take a 1-year deal. We've got to watch this. If he's willing to do a 1-year prove-it deal, that may be a situation where you could go out and you can get him. But running back is going to be very, very important for the Eagles. I think it's interesting, like I said, that the odds makers would put Barkley and the Eagles, like that connection where the Eagles are basically the best team besides the Giants to land him, or most likely. I don't know what odds they're thinking, but it's pretty interesting. Derrick Henry, that would make sense to me. DeAndre Swift would be my dream situation. And then, of course, I think Austin Eckler, I just got a feeling that the Eagles like him, and they've liked him, and Kellen Moore likes him. So whatever it is, we know that the Eagles have to go out and get a running back. They've got to get a running back. And, they're not going to spend a lot of money there. That's for sure. So maybe a guy like DeAndre Swift doesn't get the money he wants on the open market. Maybe he's willing to come back for a year. Maybe if it's true about Derrick Henry and he's willing to play on a 1-year deal because he wants to prove it for a bigger contract, they still have something left, maybe he would be willing to. I don't know. But if they landed Saquon Barkley, that would definitely take this offense to another level. And I wouldn't mind at all. I just don't know that I totally can buy into this because it's going to cost you like $12 million a year to get Barkley. But for whatever reason, the odds makers like the Eagles and Barkley connection. Kind of interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. What I want to know, because I know most of you guys don't think Barkley is realistic like me, but who do you think is realistic, and where do you think they go? Because they're going to have to do something. Whether it's bring Swift back or let him go, they're going to have to get running backs, because they definitely do not have enough, and they don't have good enough player at the running back position right now. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. The Eagles, they've got a lot of different positions that they need to fill, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if you go and you bring back DeAndre Swift and then draft a running back in the 3rd or the 4th round. They've got, what, 2 number 2s right now? So you just don't know. But it would be nice, to me, on one hand, to get a running back in here that's going to be in here for a few years. And if you could get that through the draft, then I'm all for it. But you've got to get a running back. You can't have an offense that is got a great offensive line, great receivers, a good tight end, and then running backs that aren't that good. Kenneth Gainwell just don't cut it for me. All right, so it's bookies.com was the one that had these odds. It wasn't my bookie, like I said earlier. That's my 5 in the morning video mistake. But bookies.com, it's going to be interesting. I'm not buying the Saquon Barkley thing, but it's still interesting nonetheless. Denzel Washington out.